Hey everybody, this is PsychoHampster, and I am setting up a video for you to run you through the Thu'umic shouter setup, as well as some demonstration shouts inside the game so you can see what's going on. I know I don't have a very attractive voice, so we'll just have to wait for Deadly to come back. First thing we have is the Thu'umic shouter setup.exe. Now we're going to go ahead and run that. Now let me make sure, currently, especially as of 1.7, we only support Vista and Windows 7 English. Now there is a workaround in the facts that can show you how to change your language pack if you really want to use this. Unfortunately, we don't have XP working yet. I am, however, working on that. I've had to create a virtual machine to test and make sure that will work for me. Now we have the setup running. We're going to click Next. This is going to try and find the default location for your Skyrim folder. This will only work on English. If you do not have an English version of Windows 7 or Windows Vista, you are going to have to manually put in the Skyrim location. If you do not, this mod will not work entirely correctly. If, however, it is the correct location, we can click Next. It already exists, yes. I'm actually going to change it to a completely separate one just so I don't screw up my installation, so just ignore that part. This is going to basically naming the control, naming the program. These are the options. Silent shouts will overwrite the actual audio of the Skyrim game so that you don't have to listen to the shouts again after you've said them. The next two options, overwrite existing any file with default file and overwrite existing grammar file with default file, basically reset all your settings back to default. Install Dragon Word Translator. This is a small ESP in-game that instead of showing force balance push in the Dragon Shout menu, it shows Fus Ro Da, so you kind of have an in-game thing to be able to look at. The next one, this is only if you're using the 360 push to talk. I have no idea about this. This was Azrael's baby, so you'll have to ask him about it. Then we'll click install. It'll go ahead and install all the files, write everything. And we will go ahead and finish. Now we have an icon on our desktop, Thu'umic Shouter. We'll run it. Pretty splash screen comes up. You can turn it off by clicking on the red icon, on and off. This is something that I think some people are having some trouble with. I'm actually going to turn it off right now since I'm talking. We have safety modes. If it is off, every shout will work no matter where you are or what you're doing. If safe shouts is on, no shout will work unless you are actively in combat with an enemy. If safe shouts is set to safe, it will only do those shouts which do not start combat, i.e. you'll be able to turn invisible. You will be able to do Wold, which is your whirlwind sprint. You will be able to cast your voice, I believe. No, I think that puts you in combat. But you get the idea. And your combat shouts will only work when you're actually fighting somebody. We added this so that you don't accidentally start combat with a guard or mess up somebody's house when you're talking. Help will launch an HTML file with some basic help. We're working on this because there's obviously a lot of things that some people just don't get yet. About just a pretty little box that pops up for that. The dragon will open up a Azrael screen that will show you all of the shouts. Ranmir Ta, Sugradun, Faimzi Gran. Be careful about this. It can be a spoiler, so I probably shouldn't have said all of those. The Nexus Mod page will just open up the mod so that you can go directly to the website. Settings. There are several settings. The first setting that comes up is the one that I think a lot of people are having trouble with, which is hotkey to trigger shout switching. This is the key that tells Script Dragon that, oh hey, I need to go and do something because the program's telling me it just shouted. In-game shout hotkey. I have changed the default of that to Z to match the Skyrim default hotkey for shouting. I did have it at B at one time, but a lot of people were having trouble, so I changed it to the Skyrim default key. Power toggle hotkey. This hotkey is what will turn off voice recognition from within Skyrim. You can hit Y, it'll turn it off, hit Y again, it'll turn it on. Now, if you're having some trouble with weird text coming up when you're typing, simply turn the hotkey off by clicking None. Same thing applies to the safety toggle hotkey. That will go through safe, on, off. Weird things are coming up when you're typing, just hit none, turn that hotkey off. Push to talk. If it is off, then voice recognition is on 100% of the time that the program is turned on. If you put push to talk on, it will only recognize your voice when you press your push to talk hotkey, which in this case is K, or you can change it to something else that's easier for you to use, or you can turn that hotkey off as well. Tier 1 shout delay, Tier 2 shout delay, Tier 3 shout delay. These are the numbers that determines what shout is sent to the game. In other words, in the program, if you say Fus Ro Da, and your character is only saying Fus or Fus Ro, then you need to increase your shout delays. For instance, if you say Fus Ro, but Tier 1 shout only says Fus in game, then you need to increase your Tier 2 shout delay slightly. You can try 75 or 80 to begin with. If you say Fus Ro Da, but your character only does the Fus Ro shout, then you need to increase your Tier 3 shout delay. Unfortunately, there is no magic number for every computer because mine happens to be a very fast machine. If you're running it on a little slower machine or you're running some other stuff in the background, then your delay will need to be a little bit longer in order for the shout to process correctly. Or if it's faster, you might have to lower that number. General delay. General delay is the time that the computer is allowing for Skyrim and Thu'umic Shouter to talk together. Unfortunately, because of the script dragon method I'm having to use to get this to work, there is a lag time involved in this. So if your shouts are not switching and shouting, try to increase your general delay by increments of say 25 or 30 at a time. Push to talk delay allowance. This is only if you're using push to talk and only if it's not recognizing your shouts correctly when you're using push to talk. Up it just a little bit to give yourself more time to say the shout and the Windows to be able to recognize it while you're pressing the hotkey. Phonetic horse name. This is just what you want to call your horse when you want to call him. Default is horse. Personally, I call mine Epona. I don't care what you call yours as long as it's something that it could recognize. Use alternate grammar XML. If you're having trouble with only the E's shout recognizing, then try using the alternate grammar.xml file. Now I am made aware that there's a bug on it currently. I will be fixing that in the 1.8 version to make sure that alternate grammar file does not get stuck. When you leave, make sure to save. Now I have added an autosave feature. Would you like to save your settings before exiting? No, I don't. But if you made any changes, always make sure to click yes to that. And of course there's defaults in case you wish to reset to defaults. That is the settings. Now I'm going to go through a few shouts so that you can hear exactly how they sound. So let's start off. We'll start with Fus. Fus Ro. Fus Ro Da. Wold. Wold Na Kest. Yol Tor. Las Ya. Fas Ru. Fas Ru Mar. Islen Noose. And I had it turned off for that, so obviously that's not going to work. Islen Noose. Faim. Faim Z. Faim Z Gran. Wold Na Kest. Fus Ro. Yol Tor. And I'm going to pause it for a second because I forget all the shouts. Ron Mir. Ron. Tid Klo Ul. Tid Klo. Tid. Tid Klo Ul. And as you can see, admittedly, there is a few that's not working. I know specifically that Tid Klo Ul isn't working. It's having a lot of trouble recognizing that Ul. Now, I am trying to improve the grammar files a bit at a time. I might also have to find out a way to change language packs so that I'm not forcing people who do have speech recognition natively on their language pack have to switch to English to be able to use it. As you can see, though, a majority of them do easily recognize. We can even go through a few more here. Let's see. Strun, strun ba quo, fime z gron, fime z, fus, fus ro. Now, of course, this means absolutely nothing unless you're actually watching it in the game. Alright, now there's actually several other things that we're going to want to pay attention to. First, we have to make sure ScriptDragon is installed. Now, there is a link in our description. I turn that off because it's switching shouts. There is a link in the description to download ScriptDragon. That will need to also be dumped into your Skyrim main folder. Without ScriptDragon, this mod is essentially useless as it will not do anything in the game. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and open Skyrim. So, I'm loading Skyrim up now. Notice I have it turned off because I'm talking to you and I don't want it switching shouts. Now, I want to demonstrate something for you, what will happen if safe mode is turned on when we try to play the game and use Thu'umic Shouter. Okay, turning it on. Notice safe mode is on safe. Looking for Thu'umic Shouter. It does that first time. It may have to do that the first time it loads. Okay. Ease. Wold. Now watch a non-combat shout. That's me turning off the timer for the shouts. Non-combat shout. Fine. Works perfectly. Now, turn safe mode off so all shouts work all the time. Wold. Fus. Fus roda. Yol tor shul. Fime z. Wold na. Fokra. Las ya near. Las. I obviously don't have that one yet. Is. Islen. You can see the shouts work just fine. Fus. Yol. Wold na. Fus roda. I had to do that. The idiot was coming up and telling me not to shout. So, now you notice why we put the push to talk on, because it was recognizing shouts faster than it should have been. So, I believe that covers all of the questions. If we have any more questions or comments, please feel free to get us in the forums. Now, because of the amount of comments that we're getting in, I really did not expect this much support for it. You probably are doing best to contact us at thu'umic@gmail.com, and we will get those emails forwarded to us so that we can help you with support. Currently, I know that there are several problems. Many people are having issues with the shouts not switching. Try some of the tips I gave you here in the video. There are also some people saying the tier shouts are working wrong. That's probably quickshouts.esp. If you will go into your Skyrim launcher and open data files and look for quickshouts.esp. Make sure it is in there and it is active. If it is, go ahead and mess with your tier 2 and 3 shout delays in settings to increase it or decrease it. Now you notice my alternate grammar automatically popped up. That is a bug I'm working on. I will fix that on the 1.8 version. And we are also working on the XP because I know everybody wants to use that. So, this ends the current demonstration, and good luck, happy shouting, and go blow someone up.